Welcome to this explainer. We're jumping straight into a deeply important yet rarely discussed reality of moving to Portugal. Today, we are completely dismantling that sunshine cures everything myth, and we're doing it using hard 2026 data. Whether you're currently planning your big move, or maybe you're already there and wondering why paradise suddenly feels so heavy, we're going to map out the real timeline of expatriate burnout, and more importantly, explore the evidence-based paths to getting your balance back.
Okay, let's kick things off with a stat from the 2025 Expat City Move Survey that honestly blew my mind. 40%. 40% of digital nomads in Portuguese cities report experiencing depression or anxiety. We are literally talking about nearly half of the people who packed up their entire lives to chase this European dream in spots like Lisbon and Porto. And look, this isn't a knock on Portugal at all. It's just an honest, necessary acknowledgement that a beautiful country doesn't magically erase the struggles you bring with you. In fact, the sheer stress of the transition often throws gasoline right on them.
And if you're wondering why that number is so high, well, the 2026 Buffer Remote Work Report spells it out pretty clearly. There is a massive disconnect happening with social integration. Get this, after a full 12 months of living in Portugal, only a quarter of remote workers feel strongly socially connected. That means 75% are lacking those crucial deep connections. Isolation is, hands down, the #1 trigger for these mental health challenges.
The paradise paradox.
This paradox is a total mind-bender, and it catches so many newcomers entirely off guard. Think about it. You're living in one of Europe's most gorgeous countries. The sun's out. Maybe you're paying 400 euros a month in rent, sipping a 150 espresso by the water. And yet, you feel incredibly depressed, isolated, and just lost. The whiplash between this stunning external environment and your internal struggle makes relocation depression incredibly tricky to navigate. You look around and think, I have absolutely nothing to complain about, so what is wrong with me? But the reality is absolute. Cheap rent and waterfront views cannot cure internal struggles or the profound isolation of expat life.
Deconstructing the dream. Let's actually look under the hood here.
The data shows this isn't just in people's heads. There are massive structural hurdles hitting expats' heart. Take the language barrier. Sure, you can order food in English, but real, deep friendships, those require Portuguese. Then there's visa anxiety. Navigating renewals for D7s, digital nomad D8s, or golden visas is like navigating a bureaucratic labyrinth. It's a running joke that Portuguese paperwork is an extreme sport, but honestly, it creates a persistent, grinding stress. Add in the gray, rainy winters from November to February, the daunting task of building a medical and social network from absolute zero, and the fact that true local friendships often take a year or two to naturally form. Combine all that with the day-to-day isolation of remote work, and you've got a perfect storm.
But it goes beyond just missing your favorite grocery store back home. Many people face a profound identity crisis. When your old job title, your established routines, your lifelong friends, and your entire support system vanish overnight, you are suddenly left staring in the mirror asking, who am I now? It is a very real existential grief, and it runs so much deeper than standard homesickness.
Geography as destiny. Where you land matters immensely. It turns out your specific location acts as a geographic safety net. Up at the top of the risk scale, you've got these beautiful, affordable interior cities like Covilhã and Guarda. They actually carry the highest risk for expat depression. Why? Because the expat communities are tiny, sometimes just a few dozen people, and English-speaking therapists are virtually non-existent. In the middle, you have suburbs like Cascais or Sintra. They're safe and lovely, but they require a lot more effort to socialize. Then down at the bottom, the lowest risk areas are the bustling city centers of Lisbon and Porto. English is everywhere, and there is a massive built-in social infrastructure of thousands of peers.
The expat life cycle. Timing is everything.
There's a highly predictable timeline to all of this. Months 1 to 3, pure honeymoon phase. The food is amazing, everything is new, and excitement totally masks any underlying issues. But look at that danger zone right in the middle. Months 4 to 8 represent the absolute peak crisis window. The initial magic fades, the reality of Portuguese bureaucracy sets in, and loneliness peaks. Now, if you push through and actively invest in your community, months 9 to 12 become your recovery window. Eventually, by year 2 and beyond, expats typically reach a state of deep integration, where visas are finalized and mental health really stabilizes.
A tale of two nomads. Let's see how this actually plays out in real life. Take Emma, a 31-year-old remote writer in Lisbon. Right on schedule, she hit a severe crisis around month 4, dealing with intense isolation while working 10-hour days in her apartment. But because she was in Lisbon, she easily accessed an English-speaking therapist for €70 a session, joined local yoga classes, and found free language groups. By month 12, she was fully integrated. Now compare that to James, a 36-year-old nomad who moved to Covilhã in the interior. He didn't speak Portuguese, and he was completely isolated in a town where he was the only North American. With zero expat community and the nearest English therapist an hour and a half away, his crisis dragged on from month 2 all the way to month 8. Ultimately, the isolation was just too much, and he had to relocate to Lisbon by month 10 just to find some support.
James actually hit the nail on the head with this realization. It's a huge warning sign for anyone planning a move. A beautiful country simply cannot compensate for the wrong city when you are in desperate need of professional mental health support and a community that speaks your language. And Emma's takeaway is just as crucial for understanding the full picture of healing. She realized that while her therapist was essential in identifying that isolation was the actual villain, the real cure was active social integration. It was about building a community, trying to learn the language, and tempering expectations. Clinical help is vital, for sure, but it is only half the battle. The blueprint for recovery, because there are concrete solutions here.
Let's talk about getting professional help first. Now, Portugal does have a public healthcare system, the SNS, which offers free therapy. But it comes with an 8 to 16-week waitlist. That's just not practical if you're in the middle of acute depression. The good news? Private English-speaking therapy is incredibly accessible in major cities and surprisingly affordable. While you might drop $200 a session in the US, the average in Portugal is around €75. Plus, it's totally confidential, so it absolutely will not impact your visa renewals with the immigration agency. It's a game changer, and you shouldn't hesitate to use it.
So how do you actually build this recovery plan? Step 1, force yourself out of the apartment. Community engagement is your biggest lifeline. Join 2 or 3 groups, hiking clubs, professional meetups, whatever it is, and actually show up consistently. Step 2, get into therapy. Use those affordable local therapists or find an online platform from back home. Step 3, give yourself a break and cultivate realistic expectations. Accept right now that true cultural integration is going to take 1 to 2 years. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It all comes down to a really tough but necessary question you need to ask yourself. Are you prepared to push through the intense isolation of those middle months to actively build a community, or are you just here to rent a pretty view? Because external sunshine is never going to substitute the internal work required to truly make Portugal your home. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and let's make sure we keep navigating these big life changes with our eyes wide open.